and welcome to Wheel Takes, a podcast usually about the Wheel of Time, but we've decided to deviate a smidge and talk about the Hunger Games, which is a series that I have read all of. My name's Allie.
I'm Gus. I'm a first-time reader. I have read part 1 of the first book. That's it.
Yes, and we are a married couple.
Yes.
I'm just making fun of you.
It's an inside joke to our other series.
In the most loving way possible.
Yes.
Okay. Gus.
Hi.
I can't think of anything else that we do other than notes before we start.
There's one thing that infuriates you every time.
Where did we leave off?
I truly don't remember.
See? Harder than it looks,
harder than
isn't
it
it?
looks.
We're not on chapter 6.
Oh, well, there you go. Peeta's trying to kill her, right? And she was like, oh my god, he's also playing the game?
Yeah. She's like, he's not just going to roll over and let me kill him?
That's going to happen.
Say it ain't so.
Sorry, Katniss.
Yes, but we are on chapter 5. Do you have any notes for us, Gus?
No, I read all of my 4, 5, and 6 notes at the beginning of 4.
I see. All right. Well, chapter 5, Gus. So first things first, Katniss is getting a makeover in the Capital. Mm-hmm. They are yanking strips of fabric from their legs.
She's getting waxed and shit.
Yes.
Is this where we meet Cinna?
Yes, we are about to meet Cinna.
Do you want my whole Cinna tirade?
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point I went, oh, it's all just Rome, which I should have picked it up when I first read Panem, but I forgot what Panem meant. And then this guy shows up named Cinna. And there are certain Latin names that are more recognizable to me than others, because I am a theater nerd.
Of course.
And Cinna is a name that comes up in Romeo... No, my God, not Romeo and Juliet. In Shakespeare's Julius Caesar.
Yes, Julius Caesar.
Cinna is a senator who helps to, spoilers, I guess, kill Julius Caesar. But then after...
If that is a spoiler, my darling dearests...
after the senators all stab Caesar, and then Mark Antony gives his whole speech, which, like, they let him give the speech because they think that he's going to placate the people, but actually he riles up a mob, and it's great. Oh,
do you remember when I did that speech?
I do remember, yeah, and in it, yeah, it was good.
Oh, that was one of the best moments of my acting career.
And this mob of citizens goes out on the street, and they're like, we should go kill a senator, right? And then this dude walks up, and they're like, what's your name? And he's like, my name's Cinna, my dudes, how you doing? And they're like, there he is. Let's tear his limbs from his limbs. And he's like, no, guys, I'm not Cinna the senator, I'm Cinna the poet. And they're like, the same thing.
We don't care.
Death to Cinna.
We do not care.
So I'm like, is Cinna gonna... I don't think she's gonna do this. I think it'd be way too weirdly specific of a reference.
What, for a mob to rip Cinna limb from limb?
Yeah, for Cinna to, like, die as collateral to something. It's very possible that could happen based on his name.
Could be.
Because I feel like long term here, we're going for the upheaval of the dystopia.
You mean we're not going to try to maintain the status quo where children go voluntarily to their deaths?
I don't feel like this beloved series is going to just be like, you know what? And at the end of the day, they're still killing kids.
But there's a high-speed rail, Gus, so obviously they're doing something right.
They're doing one thing right. One thing. Public transit, and no one can take it, so never mind.
I got waxed one time.
Yeah, I hear.
You know what
terrible.
I learned from that experience?
What?
Apparently blonde hair is more difficult to wax than brunette hair.
Really?
Yes, this is what I was told. And you know what? It hurt so much. I will never go back. I do not understand how women do this to themselves.
I support you.
You know what? It's what makes me support women's wrongs.
What?
The fact that women go through that and, like, don't murder everyone is admirable because it hurts so fucking bad.
I would believe it.
Gus, every hair follicle was bleeding a little bit.
So what you're saying is Katniss is having a horrible fucking time.
It's a horrible fucking time. Anyway.
Incidentally, the way that the all the style, not Cinna, but everybody else just treats her like a piece of meat is really upsetting and really well executed.
Yeah, and you think about the fact that she's also a 16-year-old girl.
She's a 16-year-old girl. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she talks about, because this is a chapter where we get like all the stories about all the other District 12ers from the like previous time, right? And she's like, yeah, some of them, sometimes we go in there naked, covered in coal dust.
Yeah, and you think about the fact that, these are children.
These children.
Yikes.
Yeah, man, not a great place.
Not
Adam,
good.
Hot take.
So-
Adam sucks.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about, too, on the walk today, like a little bit more about what you think might happen to winners.
Yeah,
To
we talk
victors?
about that now? Sure.
Yeah, we can talk about that now.
I think we chatted about this because Haymitch is obviously a winner, but also he's not like a public figure in District 12, and it seems like he's drunk all the time. So I think it's likely that if you win, you are a celebrity, but you are removed from your own celebrity.
Sure.
Because I think you're an icon of hope for the districts, but also you can't be too, like, if they talk to you at all, you're going to become an icon of rebellion, probably, unless you're a career, you know? Because it's just like, yeah, I had to murder several other children. It was horrible. Why are we excited about this?
Yeah.
This is not a good fucking thing.
Probably.
Yeah.
So do you think that they're exempt from reapings after that?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I don't see why they would be.
Yeah.
I think that it's entirely possible that if you had like a really precocious and thinking about Survivor again, right? If somebody played a game and became a fan favorite, they got a really good edit, right? But then they also were a little bit too rebellious.
Oh, sure.
The Capitol could disappear them, but that would be bad.
Yeah, people might notice.
That would be martyrdom. The Capitol could also be like, oh, wow, look at that, a twofer. They're going back, and then mysteriously they would die, tragically.
Huh.
I think that could happen.
What an interesting thought.
I just feel like if Katniss wins and is like the books are called Catching Fire and Mockingjay, you know? So and her whole thing is I'm the girl who's on fire. If Katniss wins and becomes like this icon for the people, they're going to want her to come back and they're going to want to kill her in the most embarrassing way possible. Publicly,
just
on
drop
television.
some shit on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Have her get stepped on by an elephant.
Yeah. Like,
slip on a peanut.
Tilt her platform or something. Because I know that if you step off your platform, you blow up. Like, tilt her platform at the beginning, and she, like, oh no, she fell off her platform. How sad.
There are a lot of people who, like, joke around about, like, not, you know, it's not something to joke about, but, you know, they're like me stepping off the platform before the thing starts so that I don't have to fight in the Hunger Games. Ugh. And I'm like, I mean, might be a nicer way to go.
Ugh.
If you're really sure you're not going to win, you know?
Oh, she has dinner with them. And we get this great thing where she's like, it's fucking impossible to eat this anywhere else.
Oh, yeah. Chicken. Yeah. Chickens are too expensive. Goat's milk would have to be a substitute for cream. We can grow peas in the garden. I have to get wild onions from the woods. I don't recognize the grain. She later learns that it's rice.
Yeah, I loved that. That was so clever.
Yeah, she says it would take her days of hunting and gathering to get this food.
You know, Cinna gets really sympathetic here, which is nice, and I don't want to distrust it. And I don't distrust it. But I'm not sure why he's so nice. You know? Like, Cinna's like, you must think we're so horrible that we can just generate this food like this, we don't share it. And I'm like, are you a class-conscious capital citizen? That doesn't seem like a thing.
Could be. He also says he specifically asked for District 12, which is the least desirable district.
Oh, he's one of those.
He's one of those what?
He's like...
You hope
I hope he's not
suck?
a cause guy, but like a performative cause guy.
You think he could be a performative cause guy?
It's possible if he specifically requested District 12 that he wants to be a performative cause guy, but I don't think he is.
We're going to have to read and find out.
Yes.
And then she talks about how for the opening ceremonies, you're supposed to wear something that suggests your district's principal industry.
Yes.
District 11 is
so
agriculture.
I was right.
You were. District 4 is fishing. District 3, factories. That means coming from District 12, Peeta and I will be in some kind of coal miner's getup.
Yeah, we learn these horrible things about previous previous get-ups.
And
then they get the best fucking get-up ever.
Yeah, since the baggy miners' jumpsuits are not particularly becoming, our tributes usually end up in skimpy outfits and hats with headlamps.
Terrifying. Awful. Demolish it.
So she asks if she's going to be dressed as a coal miner, and he says, and we both see it as our job to make the District 12 tributes unforgettable, says Cinna. I'll be naked for sure, I think.
I love that.
Katniss is funny.
She's really funny.
That's something to know. So rather than focus on the coal mining itself, we're going to focus on the coal, says Cinna, naked and covered in black dust, I think. And what do we do with coal? We burn it, says Cinna.
He goes, wait a minute.
You're not afraid of fire, are you, Katniss? He sees my expression and grins. So a few hours later, I am dressed in what will either be the most sensational or the deadliest costume in the opening ceremonies. I'm in a simple black unitard that covers me from ankle to neck. Shiny leather boots lace up to my knees. But it's the fluttering cape made of streams of orange, yellow, and red, and the matching headpiece that define this costume. Cinna plans to light them on fire just before our chariot rolls into the streets. Now, do you remember when we were in Tabor and they lit one of our classmates on fire?
Yeah, it was awesome.
They lit David on fire. Do you remember this?
I remember that.
And then he ran, and then they put him out.
They put him out. It was fucking
cool. I have a video of that on my phone somewhere.
Yeah, it's pretty dang so cool.
It's pretty dang cool. And they had like so many safety precautions.
Oh, yeah.
So many.
Don't light yourself on fire.
Do not light yourself on fire. My God. Please don't do that. So it's a little synthetic fire. They'll be perfectly safe.
He even says the thing, Katniss, the girl who was on fire.
Uh-huh. And she thinks that it crosses her mind that Cinna's calm and normal demeanor masks a complete madman. Oh, he also noteworthy about Cinna, he's not very affected like the rest of the Capitol.
Huh.
He dresses pretty plainly, and he doesn't speak with a very affected voice.
Something's going on with him. I'm just not sure what yet.
Yes.
There's people online, because I mentioned online that I was reading these, and I said, oh, Cinna's great. And people were like, who's Cinna? And I was like, come on. You know who Cinna is. Now I know how you feel.
So everyone's, his stylist Portia and her team accompany Peeta, and everyone is absolutely giddy with excitement over what a splash will make, except Cinna. He just seems a bit weary as he accepts congratulations.
Oh, by the way, we didn't mention the spoiler scope for this episode. If you haven't figured it out, this episode contains spoilers for everything through the end of Part 1 of The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins.
Oh, yeah, we probably should have said that. They wonder about Haymitch. They said, where is Haymitch anyway? Isn't he supposed to protect us from this sort of thing? With all that alcohol in him, it's probably not advisable to have him around an open flame. And they both laugh together. All right, so the ceremony starts. District 1 goes out.
Oh, and they hold hands.
Not District 1.
No. I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I don't know anybody else yet. I know little tiny 12-year-old girl who is a sociopath in my head. and that's it.
Either you're very, very right or very, very wrong. But the tributes from District 1 go out. They look beautiful, spray-painted silver with glittering with jewels. District 1 makes luxury items for the Capitol. You can hear the roar of the crowd. They're always favorites. Yeah,
of course they are. They're the artisans.
Cinna appears and lights them on fire. Literally.
Dope.
And then he yells at them to hold hands.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yes.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
And is the next part the speech, right?
Yeah. So the crowd is all looking at them, all eyes on them the minute they come out. Everyone's cheering, excited. Someone throws a red rose at them. I catch it, give it a delicate sniff, and blow a kiss back in the general direction of the giver.
Yeah, she's on point right now. She's doing good.
Yeah, everyone's like freaking out about the two of them. They get into the center loop. Peeta at one point gets a little shaky on the Peeta gets a little shaken on the chariot, and he says, "Thanks for keeping hold of me. I was getting a little shaky there. It didn't show. I'm sure no one noticed. I'm sure they didn't notice anything but you. You should wear flames more often. They suit you."
See, he's smooth. I don't trust this motherfucker. He's smooth.
Yeah. And he gives me a smile that seems so genuinely sweet that with just the right touch of shyness, that unexpected warmth rushes through me.
I don't trust him.
And then a warning bell goes off in my head. Don't be so stupid. Peeta is planning how to kill you.
This is the thing. She keeps on thinking this and then walking it back. Mm-hmm. And I'm always inclined to think that whatever the protagonist believes is probably wrong.
And you think that she believes that he's fine?
I think that she is aware that he's suave and might be up to something, but every time she pushes, he gives in such a very tactful way that she feels bad for having pushed, and then she stops pushing.
Okay.
Or he's actually the sweetest, softest boy in the world, and I'm going to feel terrible about this.
Or so he's either a bread roll psychopath.
Yes.
Or Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah.
One of the two.
That's psycho. By the way, if he were
planning
using
on killing
deception
her
and deceit to kill her, okay, that's the point. That's the, like, I'm not happy about it, but until we find a way to change the whole structure, you have to do that.
So she says, but because two can play at this game, I stand on tiptoe and kiss his cheek, right on his bruise.
Very good.
Chapter 6, Gus.
Yes.
Is the training center.
Oh, hell yeah, this part's fun.
Each district has an entire floor. So you simply step onto an elevator and press the number of your district. Easy enough to remember. I still somehow would find a way to get lost.
Is it in Roman numerals?
I don't know.
I mean, it's Panem, right? It's fake Rome. If it were in Roman numerals, I could see people getting fucked up.
I don't...
Bumbling out on floor 9 when you're supposed to be on floor 6.
Could you imagine? You're like, oh, fuck.
Wait, no, floor 4 when you're supposed to be on floor 6?
And you know what? With my luck, everyone would be like, what a genius. She's pretending to be simple and stumbling upon people's like training. And I'd be like, no, I genuinely do not fucking know where I am at all times.
What I love is when people on Survivor, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes like somebody will just fixate on the most random character. One player will fixate on another player. It's like they're the mastermind of everything. Like in San Juan del Sur, one of the surfer brothers decided that Kelly Wentworth was the kingpin.
I mean, he might have been ahead of his time.
He might have been ahead of his time because she was great later.
Because she later was really a freaking good player.
But on her first season, it was just Kelly, the farmer's daughter, who has had 4 confessionals.
And then all of a sudden he was like, Kelly has to go.
Yeah. Like
it was very random. And then he decided
Alec Christie or Drew Christie?
I think it was Alec Christie.
Yeah.
But they were so hard to tell apart. And they were both so stunningly good looking.
They were really gorgeous. So we get a training center. Do they eat again? Is this the part where they eat? She doesn't start actually training yet, right?
Oh, Effie's very excited about how they did.
Yeah.
Because they're the first team that ever made that she's hosted that has ever made a splash at the ceremonies.
Okay.
And everyone is talking about them. Oh, and she says some really microaggressive, shitty things. She says,
barbarism, right? Is this that part?
How I've done my best with what I've had to work with. How Katniss sacrificed herself for her sister. How you've both successfully struggled to overcome the barbarism of your district. And Katniss thinks that's ironic coming from a woman helping to prepare us for slaughter.
I know, what the fuck, Effie?
But everyone has reservations because they're from the Coal District.
Yeah, of course they do.
And she says, well, if you put enough pressure on coal, it turns to pearls.
You are wrong.
It's not pearls.
So wrong.
At all. And it's not even diamonds, right? Isn't it something else?
The
graphite turns to diamonds.
The maxim is that coal turns to diamonds because it's carb, but it doesn't. Like, theoretically it does, but not really. It has to be just right.
Oh my god, and then she literally says coal doesn't turn to pearls.
Yeah.
They grow in shellfish. Possibly she meant coal turns to diamonds, but that's untrue too. District 13 was in charge of mining graphite until it was destroyed. So no diamonds for the capital.
No pencils either. You're going to try to do a crossword puzzle, you're going to be fucking pissed off.
You're absolutely fucked. Haymitch has gone missing again. And he can't, and Effie can't seal sponsorship deals.
It's not
on her own.
Yeah.
Because it's not her job.
What if you didn't have a previous winner from your district? Like, what do you do?
That's not a problem any of them had.
Yeah, but like, what if
I think
Haymitch died? Like, what, did they just screwed?
I don't know. I assume they'd figure something else out.
All right.
But, I mean, there's only been 2. I don't know if Haymitch was able to have her, the previous one was a woman. I don't know if she was alive when Haymitch was, I mean, she must have been. I don't know. That's a very good question. They go to dinner. Katniss is judgmental about the dinner again.
Yeah. Is this the Avox scene? And we get the Avox flashback?
Yes. Oh, so, Katniss sees, a woman and, realizes that she knows her. The girl looks very scared. Effie says, "Don't be ridiculous, Katniss. How could you possibly know an Avox?" Snaps Effie. The very thought. What's an Avox? Someone who committed a crime.
Voiceless, right? Is that what that means?
Yes. They cut her tongue so she can't speak.
Because Vox...
Oh, that was Haymitch, actually.
Well, Haymitch can talk how he wants. He's popping off.
Someone who committed a crime. They cut her tongue so she can't speak. She's probably a traitor of some sort. Not likely you'd know her. But he does know her. And then Peeta goes, Deli Cartwright, yeah, that's who it is.
See, he's fucking smooth. He's
kept thinking,
quick.
I kept thinking she looked familiar as well. Then I realized she's a dead ringer for Deli.
Bullshit. Yeah, so,
and that was complete bullshit.
So what happened was, here's the thing. She's out hunting. She's doing the business, getting the Katnisses, getting the turnips, getting the shrubs, getting the mushrooms, getting the deer. Not really, it's too big. Getting the food, getting the squirrels, getting the crickets, whatever. And then there's this girl and this guy running. And she and Gale hide like under a rock. And then the hovercraft shows up. And again, at first I was like, maybe it's a helicopter. And you were like, no, it's actually sci-fi. It's a fucking hovercraft.
Yeah, it's silent.
And they pick her up.
There was a context clue to tell you that because it was silent.
Yeah. They pick her up with a net and they fucking spear her buddy.
Yeah.
And he's very dead.
Yes.
And Katniss and the Avox make eye contact.
Yeah.
And Katniss, of course, does nothing. Because, like,
what are
you going to do? And then she feels really guilty about it for all the first part, which I totally understand as well. Because, like, she feels very guilty about it in the first part here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they watched it happen. And the two of them looked like they were from the Capitol.
Oh, from the Capitol?
Yeah, I said they had that Capitol look about them, the boy and the girl. So they were Capitol traitors.
So there are Capitol populists.
Yes.
Okay, great. So maybe Sin is a Capitol populist.
Could be.
It would be even more appropriate if he were a Capitol populist and then he got killed.
Would it?
Yeah, because the Senate killed Caesar in Julius Caesar because they were like, he wants to become a king. He is not Vox Populi. We don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
But then it didn't turn out so well for anybody.
Right. So, yeah, something must have happened. So you think maybe some of the Capitol are maybe aware that everything sucks?
I feel like some of them are, but they'd probably get disappeared if they said anything.
Maybe like this boy and this girl.
Yeah. Well, they went running. If they got from the Capitol, that's the Rockies, and they got to Appalachia.
Right. Well, I think it's interesting, and, I'd never really actually thought of this before, but the Hunger Games is the threat that keeps the districts in line.
Nothing keeps but the Capitol is just better off.
The
right?
Avoxes are the threat that keeps the Capitol in line.
Of course.
They're the reminder of this is what happens
to you
if you step out of line.
That's a good point.
There's oppression all the way up.
Right, because if these people were from a district, they wouldn't have Avoxed them. They would have just killed them.
Probably. I mean, they killed one of them.
Yeah,
so true. What he did must have been bad enough.
Yeah.
Theoretically, that, like, he was the target, right? And the girl was...
collateral.
Maybe.
Something.
Mm-hmm.
An example.
Unless it's a Robert Jordan thing and we don't kill women. But I'm going to tell you, with 24 kids... some of the girls have to die. Some of them are
girls. Half of them are girls.
Yes, the girl screamed once the boy's name, and then she was gone.
Yeah.
And then Peeta covers for the conversation.
He's fucking clever. He's really quick and he's really clever.
He's pretty smart. He knows how to play.
Oh, and they asked him about Gale, right? They talk about Gale.
Yes,
and we
he
get
asked
like
about
all of
Gale.
this. It's not a love triangle, but
And
we
he
get
goes,
the standard YA sort of two boys thing.
Yeah, he says, I hear the girls talk about him a lot. I thought he was your cousin or something. You favor each other. And she says, no, we're not related. Did he come to say goodbye to you? Yes. So did your father. He brought me cookies. Peeta raises his eyebrows as if this is news. But after watching him lie so smoothly, I don't give this much weight.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that he knew Katniss's mother when they were kids. And that he maybe wished that he had a daughter rather than a house full of boys.
Right.
So he's a sexist fuck. I'm just kidding. I really bet those cookies were fire, though.
I'm sure they were. She threw him out the fucking window.
Did she throw him out the window? Why?
Yeah, because she was like, this is a trap. He wants me to feel bad for his son.
I don't want your blood
Peeta
cookies.
told him to give me these cookies.
So what?
It was all a ploy. I don't know.
I would eat them anyway.
It's probably great.
I'm going to die soon. I might as well eat a fucking cookie.
No.
Who cares?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'd be like, I could eat a cookie and then stab him later. Who cares?
True.
Anyway, whatever. At least give them away. Ugh, I just hate to see cookies go to waste. But yeah. And then Katniss goes to bed.
Yep.
Oh, but she feels like the redheaded girl keeps staring at her. And she thinks to herself, I wonder if she'll enjoy watching me die.
Rough.
Suze Collins with these like end of chapter sentences. I bet
great.
she writes these and it's just like, I'm going to fucking take 6 shots after that because I'm
so good
fucking amazing
at everything.
All right, let's take a quick ad break. Chapter 7, Gus.
Yes.
Katniss has bad dreams.
Ooh, I do actually have notes now.
Ooh, okay, please.
I have some. I kind of tapered off again at the end. But
Yeah, because sometimes when you're getting really into it, it's hard to remember to take notes, right?
Chapter 7. They didn't have rice in the district. Fate worse than death.
Word.
I knew Peeta was shredded. I mean, Katniss, if about half the girls are bigger than you, doesn't that mean that you're of average size? That's not bad. She's looking around, she's like, the boys are huge, and like half the girls are bigger than me. I'm like, then you're dead in the middle. Well,
okay, let's put it this way, though. If you're dead in the middle, you're probably dead in the middle.
No, not necessarily. What, you mean because you're not neither quick nor strong?
Yeah.
Okay, then you're right.
You're solidly mid-tier.
And I wrote...
So you're not best at anything.
All right, fine. You're right. You're right. No, that's true. I wrote, Peeta's going to become very dangerous and good at the games. That's my guess. That was my guess then. I think he's already very dangerous. Oh, look, the 12-year-old is looking at them. Wow. Mentioning her again.
Yeah.
Are we Suze?
Are we, Suze?
All right, Suze.
Menacingly, you think?
No, I don't know. I think that she's going to be a force to be reckoned with, but I'm not sure if... Katniss is going to want to protect her because she's going to remind her of Prim. I mean, she even says Rue. It's the same kind of thing. She's also named after a plant.
Well, I mean, and notably, Rue probably was watching the reaping and maybe thought, maybe I can buddy up to this gal.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, she watches her rush back for her. She's like, oh, awesome. She'll take care of me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you think it's all an act?
I don't think it's all an act. I think she is 12. Again, here's the thing. With the exception of the career tributes, who can go fuck themselves, I don't really blame anybody else their strategy.
But here's the thing about the career tributes. That, well, you don't have to read it this way, but I've seen it argued. They're victims just as much as everybody else.
Yes, yes.
Because they're victims
indoctrinated. Yes, I understand
they're
that.
victims of propaganda.
That
they
is
were
true.
Plucked. They were chosen as children and trained to be these like super soldier freaks.
Yes, that's true.
They've been brainwashed.
Yes, but also fuck them a little bit.
But also fuck them a little bit.
Like...
No, totally.
There's brain. Yes, I understand that they're indoctrinated. They've been drowned in propaganda,
and they're children.
Else. And they're children. But it's also like, given the circumstances, if you put one kid in a room who who has been indoctrinated to kill other children and one kid in a room who desperately doesn't want to kill other children but will if they have to, I'm probably going to side with the one who desperately doesn't want to kill other children.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm also just thinking about it from the adult's perspective of like, we want to give our kids the best chance of survival.
Yeah.
Right? The kids in our district.
But they volunteer. Like, that's the thing.
Well, someone has to go. So they train up a couple kids to be really good at this. So that, and then they volunteer at 18 when they are most likely able to win.
That's even more fucked up.
It is. But if you're looking at it from like the adult's perspective, this gives all of their children better odds.
Yeah, it does.
It's fucked up.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying that that's fucked up.
It's fucked up, but the circumstances are fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, I think they're victims too. Are they also fucked up and they suck? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I just have seen it argued, and I think it's even more interesting if you look at a lot of them as victims of the circumstances.
Oh, they all are. I mean, here's the thing. This is all the relatively poor fighting the less relatively poor.
Yeah.
This is all just a distraction. Yeah. All of it is.
But also, fuck them.
Yeah.
Because they suck. She thinks about her family, and about what they must be doing right now. Probably nothing fun.
No.
They're partying,
yeah.
Katniss. They're having a great time.
Needlepoint.
Peeta, so they're at breakfast, and Haymitch asks them what they can do. Peeta says,
yeah.
I can't do anything.
Peeta blows up her spot, so she blows up his spot.
Peeta says, I can't do anything unless you count baking bread. Sorry, I don't. Katniss, I already know you're handy with a knife. Not really, but I can hunt with a bow and arrow. And you're good? Katniss thinks about how she's not as good as her father was, but he'd had more practice. But that she was better than Gale, but she's had more practice. And she says, I'm all right. And Peeta says, she's excellent. My father buys her squirrels. He always comments on how the arrows never pierce the body. She hits everyone in the eye. It's the same with the rabbits she sells the butcher. She can even bring down deer. And then she looks at him and she says, what are you doing? What are you doing? If he's going to help you, he has to know what you're capable of. Don't underrate yourself. What about you? I've seen you in the market. You can lift 100-pound bags of flour. Tell him that. That's not nothing. Yes, and I'm sure the arena will be full of bags of flour for me to chuck at people.
Look, they might be.
It's not like I'm being able to use a weapon. You know it isn't. He can wrestle, I tell Haymitch. He came in second in our school competition last year, only after his brother. What use is that? How many times have you seen someone wrestle someone to death?
That's a bullshit argument. You know it, Peeta.
And she says there's always hand-to-hand combat.
If there's no guns, which good, I'm glad there's no guns, that's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, she says, so all you need is to come up with a knife and you'll at least stand a chance. If I get jumped, I'm dead. And he says, but you won't. You'll be living up in some tree eating raw squirrels and picking off people with arrows. You know what my mother said to me when she came to say goodbye? As if to cheer me up.
I don't believe this.
She says maybe District 12 will finally have a winner. Then I realized she didn't mean me. She meant you.
I don't believe that.
And then she goes, oh, she meant you. She said, she's a survivor, that one. She is.
Like, Peeta's mom fucking sucks.
We all know Peeta's mom sucks.
But I don't think she sucks quite that much.
Well, she's like, she's the survivor, that one. I know because I did everything I could to make sure she wouldn't.
Her to the ground. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I know. I wouldn't give her bread. I know she's got it in her bullshit.
Fuck you. Give the kid bread. She was starving and her dad was dead. And her mom was comatose. You fuck.
No.
You baking fuck.
No.
Go bake yourself, you fuck. Anyway. So then he says that they'll be tripping over themselves to sponsor Katniss, and she says, no more than you. And he rolls his eyes at Haymitch. She has no idea the effect she can have.
See, this is what threw me, because then Katniss seems very unaware of herself, which I think makes sense. But she's like, well, yeah, I always get good deals. It's because people like my dad. And I'm like, okay, so she is actually really charming. Mm-hmm. But clumsy at it.
She's got presence,
Yeah.
I think, is kind of the thing about her.
Sure.
She's got a lot of presence. She's very noticeable as a person.
Sure. Okay.
And clearly she's earned a lot of respect in District 12.
Yeah.
But he says there's no guarantee. Haymitch says there'll be no guarantee there will be bows in the area, in the arena.
Oh,
but during your private session with the game makers, show them what you can do. I'm assuming, right, that the game makers want to put on a good show.
Yeah.
So if they know that their contestants have a particular skill,
They want to show it off.
they'll want to show it off because it's more fun and interesting. But they'll want to make it a challenge at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm assuming that's why Haymitch said, show the game makers what you can do. Well, that and the fact that, it gives them higher points.
Yeah, you don't want to fucking die.
You don't want to fucking die. You want sponsors. But he said, until then, stay clear of archery. Don't want people to see what you're capable of.
Right.
And then he says, are you any good at trapping? And she says, I know a few basic snares. That may be significant in terms of food. And Peeta, she's right. Never underestimate strength in the arena. Very often, physical power tilts the advantage to a player. In the training center, they will have weights, but don't reveal how much you can lift in front of the other tributes. The plan's the same for both of you. You go to group training, spend the time trying to learn something you don't know, throw a spear, swing a mace, learn to tie a decent knot. Save showing what you're best at until your private sessions. Are we clear? One last thing. In public, I want you by each other's side every minute. Every minute. It's not open to discussion. You agree to do as I said. You will be together. You will appear amiable to each other. Now get out.
Cool.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, I think Peeta's already confided his plan to him. His whole I have a crush on her thing. It's marketable.
Mm-hmm. It's marketable.
Yeah.
He can sell star-crossed lovers
Right.
from District 12.
Yeah.
So, she thinks about what Peeta has said. She has no idea the effect she can have. Obviously meant to demean me, right? But there's a tiny part of me that wonders if it was a compliment. That he meant I was appealing in some way. It's weird how much he's noticed me. Like the attention he'd paid to my hunting. And apparently I have not been as oblivious to him as I imagined either. The flower, the wrestling. I've kept track of the boy with the bread.
The boy with the bread, whose name is fucking Bread.
Bread boy.
Bread boy.
The boy bread. So they go to the training center where a woman named Atala reads down the list of the skill sessions. She kind of takes in the other tributes. Almost all of the boys and at least half the girls are bigger than she is. Even though many of the tributes have never been fed properly. You can see it in their bones, their skin, the hollow look in their eyes. Overall, her family's resourcefulness has given her an edge in that area.
Yeah.
So she's strong because she's actually been fed well.
That'll help.
The exceptions are the kids from the wealthier districts, the volunteers, the ones who have been fed and trained throughout their lives for this moment. The tributes from 1, 2, and 4 traditionally have this look about them. It's technically against the rules to train tributes before they reach the capital, but it happens every year. In District 12, we call them the career tributes, or just the careers. And like as not, the winner will be one of them.
Boo!
She thinks the other tributes might be jealous of them because they
got all the attention.
got all the attention.
They're going to get, watch as Katniss vivisects someone with Cutco knives.
Yeah. Peeta is hanging out. They hang out at the knot tying station. And they learn a couple snares from the knot tying guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they master that. Then they move on to camouflage. Peeta genuinely seems to enjoy this station.
Yeah, because he's a cake boy.
Yeah, because he does the cake.
Yeah, well, how charming.
Very charming. And Katniss thinks about how they never could afford one of those. And she says, it's lovely. If only you could frost someone to death. And then he says, don't be so superior. You can never tell what you'll find in the arena. Say it's actually a gigantic cake.
He's fun. He's got jokes.
They both have jokes. Peeta excels in hand-to-hand combat. And Katniss sweeps the edible plants test.
Yep.
Because, she would.
Yeah. Good to know.
They skip archery and weightlifting.
Smart.
The game makers appear the next day, kind of checking them out. They're staring at all of them. One of them is fixated on Katniss. Breakfast in They have lunch all together and no one sits near each other except for the career tributes.
You think?
Yeah. But yeah, the careers all get together.
Makes sense.
Rue is staring at them, the little girl from District 11. She's 12.
Yeah.
She's tinier up close. She looks about 10.
Okay.
And she starts... and she sees that she's clever with plants, climbs swiftly, and has a good aim. She can hit the target every time with a slingshot.
See, she's got skills.
And Katniss thinks, but what is a slingshot against a 220-pound male with a sword?
It's useful. It's David and Goliath.
It's a distance weapon. He won't. Yeah. What's a sword if he can't get nearer?
Yeah. What is very useful.
She's got a chance. She just can't let him catch her.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't.
And is private training next?
Yes.
I love this. So Peeta claims he goes in and just throws heavy things around, but then he gets an 8. So he does something impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And then she puts on a clinic after fucking up her first shot, but she fucks up her first shot and they're all drunk. And then she's like, all right, I'm going to risk everything and shoot an apple.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And I love her for it.
Yes, she shoots. She gets mad that she's being upstaged by a dead pig. So she, without thinking, I pull an arrow from my quiver and send it straight at the game maker's table. I hear shouts of alarm as people stumble back. The arrow skewers the apple in the pig's mouth and pins it to the wall behind it. Everyone stares at me in disbelief. Thank you for your consideration, I say, then give a slight bow and walk straight toward the exit without being dismissed.
Icon. Legend. Her mind.
Iconic.
Was empty in that moment.
Incredible.
But I support it.
Now, when she did this, what did you think?
If it were not this book, that would backfire.
Yeah.
But it's not the kind of book where we're going to put her on the back foot right off the gate, because she started on the back foot.
Uh-huh.
She started so disadvantaged that to disadvantage her further would not be fair in this moment.
So you think that this was a genuine 11?
I think it was partially a genuine 11 and partially okay, you want to shoot at us? We'll shoot at you.
Bet.
Like, you go ahead. We will make sure you have the biggest fucking target painted right on your forehead.
Absolutely, she does. Chapter 8, Gus.
Yes, I have some notes. The artificial candy capital pop-off Suze. Great prose, very good. This lunatic just dipped a pork chop in his wine. Little Rue got a 7, huh? Initiate Operation Throat Rip. Bread Boy asked to be coached separately, very dramatic, but I don't blame him. If Katniss is considered the biggest target, he won't want to be associated with her for fear he gets taken out as her lieutenant. That was the first thing I thought. But then I also thought some other things.
But what if he's a sweet angel baby and
then
loves her and doesn't want to kill her?
Then I am a twerp.
Oh, but he loves her so.
I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah?
You
don't think so?
I don't think that's what it is.
He's completely and totally in love with her. He has been their whole lives, and it was all in a bread toss.
No, absolutely not. Not a chance.
You don't think when he was wrestling, he was thinking of wrestling her?
No? Absolutely not. Well, maybe, but probably not. Because here's the thing. She wouldn't have introduced Gale if she wanted me to be totally on board with Peeta.
You think?
I think. Because she could have just as easily been hunting on her own.
She could have. So if Peeta were meant to be her love interest, then why is Gale even there? That's a good point. So you think Gale's the love interest? I'm
not saying either one necessarily is, but because again, of this genre, of this era, this happens a lot.
The love interest.
Love interest, two different people, all that.
The two different, you're thinking of it like it's a Twilight situation?
I'm not, because I don't want to compare anything to Twilight, because I think it's not my favorite series. But I expect that there is some of that. Because Katniss has already had sort of complicated feelings about Gale, and other people have had sort of complicated... Peeta is like, so, what's your relationship with Gale? So he's clearly interested, either tactically or actually. I don't know, man. Like, I think he is a genuinely nice person, but I think he's also incredibly calculating.
Yeah. That seems to fit with what we've seen so far from him.
Yeah.
So, so you think he's faking it? You think he's bullshitting?
I think he's playing it up, no matter what. Even if he likes her, I think no matter, even if he likes her, the second he got his name pulled next to hers, he was like, well, I'm gonna fucking throw that in the trash.
Yeah.
She's gotta die.
Well, he'd kind of have to, right?
Yeah. I don't blame him for any of this.
Yeah.
If it sounds like I am, I don't.
No, I don't think you're blaming him.
Yeah.
I'm saying you're right.
And that's it.
Okay. So Katniss goes back to her rooms. She flings herself down onto the bed and starts to cry because she thinks that she's ruined everything.
But she didn't.
She's freaked out that they're going to arrest her, execute her, cut out her tongue, and turn her into an Avox so she can wait on the future tributes of Panem. And she thinks, I wasn't trying to kill one of them. If I were, they'd be dead.
Good line.
But she is scared about what they might do to her family because of it.
Yeah, but apparently that doesn't, like, it's all, they're just like, well, it was funny, don't worry about it. Like, yeah, you might get killed for this, but your family will be fine.
Yeah, she's also worried that they might give her a score so low no one will sponsor her.
Which does not happen.
So Haymitch asks, okay, enough small talk, just how bad were you today? Peeta jumps in. I don't know if it mattered. By the time I showed up, no one even bothered to look at me. They were singing some kind of drinking song, I think. So I threw around some heavy objects until they told me I could go. Which makes Katniss feel a bit better. It's not like Peeta attacked the game makers, but at least he was provoked too.
Mm-hmm.
And Haymitch says, and you, sweetheart? Somehow Haymitch calling me sweetheart ticks me off enough that at last I'm able to speak. I shot an arrow at the game makers.
Hell yeah.
You what? The horror in Effie's voice confirms my worst suspicions. I shot an arrow at them. Not exactly at them. In their direction. It's like Peeta said, I was shooting and they were ignoring me and I just lost my head, so I shot an apple out of their stupid roast pig's mouth.
Fuck that pig.
And what did they say? Says Cinna carefully. Nothing. Or, I don't know, I walked out after that. Without being dismissed? Gasps Effie.
Pearl clutching.
I dismissed myself. Well, that's that, says Haymitch. Then he butters a roll.
I love him.
Do you think they'll arrest me? Doubt it. But it'd be a pain to replace you at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sadly, that's true.
What about my family? Will they punish them? Don't think so. Wouldn't make much sense. See, they'd have to reveal what happened at the training center for it to be any worthwhile effort on the population. People would need to know what you did, but they can't since it's a secret, so it'd be a wasted effort. More likely, they'll make your life hell in the arena.
Great.
And then Peeta says, well, they've already promised to do that to us anyway. Very true. So they cheered her up a bit.
And then she gets the highest goddamn score.
And also Haymitch starts laughing. And Effie suppresses a smile and says, well, it serves them right. It's their job to pay attention to you. And just because you come from District 12 is no excuse to ignore you.
Don't you try to get sympathetic with me. Don't you try to become a sympathetic character. You're not.
Then her eyes dart around as if she said something totally outrageous. I'm sorry, but that's what I think.
Don't you fucking try it, Effie. You're on my gonna get eaten list.
And she says, I'll get a very bad score. Scores only matter if they're good. Scores only matter if they're very good. No one pays much attention to the bad or mediocre ones. For all they know, you could be hiding your talents to get a low score on purpose. People use that strategy.
Smart.
Peeta's convinced that that he's going to get a bad grade, a bad score. After dinner, we go into the sitting room to watch the scores announced on television. First, they show a photo of the tribute, then flash their score below it. The career tributes naturally get in the 8 to 10 range. Most of the other players average a 5. Surprisingly, Little Rue comes up with a 7.
Bring it up. Why don't you? Why didn't you just make mention of that? For you didn't have to mention her 3 times before I really met her, but you did.
I don't know what she showed the judges, but she's so tiny it must have been impressive.
It's flensing. Is that the right word?
I don't know what flensing is.
Slice the skin or fat from. It's flensing.
District 12 comes up last as usual. Peeta pulls an 8. so at least a couple of the game makers must have been watching him.
Mm-hmm.
I dig my fingernails into my palms as my face comes up, expecting the worst. Then they're flashing the number 11 on the screen. 11. Effie Trinket lets out a squeal, and everybody's slapping me on the back and cheering and congratulating me, but it doesn't seem real. Guess they like your temper, Hamish says. They've got a show to put on. They need some players with some heat. Katniss, the girl who was on fire, says Cinna and gives me a hug. Oh, wait until you see your interview dress. More flames? Of a sort.
Yeah, but it's jewel encrusted. It's cool, but it's not on fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
She thinks back to when she meets Gale. We finally meet Gale.
Which we went over that last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was going hunting and tried to take his rabbit.
Yeah. See, why bring up Gale again if he doesn't matter? He matters.
Gale matters. He matters. He's watching Prim.
Yeah. The way you said that makes me suspicious that he actually fucking sucks. Because I'm always suspicious.
Are you suspicious?
All the time.
All the time you're suspicious?
Every minute.
He's watching Prim. What could be suspicious about that?
He's not watching Prim.
What? He's murdering Prim? He's murdering a 12-year-old?
Yes.
For no reason?
He wishes he were here. No, I don't think that's true. I'm just messing with you.
Peeta actually, no, Gale is actually like, I've been training my whole life for the Hunger Games, and I never made it, so now I'm going to kill Prim.
I couldn't have just volunteered.
I couldn't have just volunteered instead of Peeta Malark, the bread boy.
Bread boy. Oh, and then Peeta, we learn that Peeta wants to be coached separately.
Yes. So yeah, they were going to be coached on interviews. He tells her that Peeta has asked to be coached separately.
Brutal, but I get it.
And let's break for ads. Chapter 9, Gus, our last chapter.
One, yeah. I have like 2 notes. Smiling is mostly about smiling more. Burn the whole fucking country down. And then I just wrote, oh good, Bread Boy has a crush on her.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really should have seen coming.
Chapter 9, Gus.
Yes.
Betrayal. That's the first thing I feel, which is ludicrous. For there to be betrayal, there would have to have been trust first. Between Peeta and me.
But like, you keep waffling on this, Katniss. You keep on going back and forth. I trust him, I don't. He's trying to kill me. He's trying to kill me.
But the boy who risked a beating to give me bread, the one who steadied me in the chariot, who covered for me with the red-headed Avox girl, who insisted Hamish know my hunting skills. Was there some part of me that couldn't help trusting him?
Yes, because he's very good at this.
The games begin in 2 days. And she thinks whatever triggered Peeta's decision, and I suspect it had to do with my outperforming him in training, I should be nothing but grateful for it. Maybe he's finally accepted the fact that the sooner we openly acknowledge that we are enemies, the better.
He wants you to be off guard and thrown off. He wants you to be unsure, because he's good at this.
Effie puts her in a full-length gown and heels, which Katniss has never worn before.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, right. It's the scene from League of Their Own, where they learn how to walk and talk.
Yes. Effie's giving
Amazon
her
show,
basically elocution skills.
Yeah, and burn it down. Forcing this on people, burn it down. I should clarify.
And Effie tells her to remember that she wants the audience to like her. And Katniss says, they're betting on how long I'll live. They're not my friends.
That's true.
Well, try and pretend.
They can give you Wonder Bread. Watch as Peeta, as Katniss Everdeen, wipes the blood of her dead friend off her face with Wonder Bread.
See, like this. I'm smiling at you even though you're aggravating me.
Very funny line. Don't like her, but don't like her.
See, but it has a sense of humor. So then she goes to Hamish. Who's just stares at her and frowns for a little while.
Oh, God, and he tries to give her, like, interview lessons, and she's shit because she doesn't like him.
Mm-hmm. She goes, what? I'm trying to figure out what to do with you, he says. How we're going to present you. Are you going to be charming, aloof, fierce, So far, you're shining like a star. You volunteered to save your sister. Cinna made you look unforgettable. You've got the top training score. People are intrigued, but no one knows who you are. The impression you make tomorrow will decide exactly what I can get you in terms of sponsors. What's Peeta's approach, or am I not allowed to ask? Likeable. He has a sort of self-deprecating humor naturally, whereas when you open your mouth, you come across as sullen and hostile. I do not. Please.
No, you do.
I don't know where you pulled that cheery, wavy girl on the chariot from, but I haven't seen her before or since. And you've given me so many reasons to be cheery. But you don't have to please me. I'm not going to sponsor you, so pretend I'm the audience. Delight me. Fine. So she tries to answer his questions, but she gets angrier and angrier. And he just basically is like, they try her playing humble, cocky, ferocious, funny, witty, sexy, mysterious. None of it works. And he says, I give up, sweetheart. Just answer the questions and try not to let the audience see how openly you despise them. And that night, Katniss smashes a bunch of dishes in her room.
Oh, and then the Avox and they clean it up together, and it's really sweet.
Mm-hmm. And she says, I should have tried to save you. The Avox girl basically kind of mimes to her that she would have ended up the same.
Yeah, this is really sweet.
So now Cinna takes her,
dresses her
to
up
make
in
her
her cool ass
beautiful.
gown,
and Katniss is covered in jewels. She looks like a flame.
It is cool, by the way. I feel like I was a little harsh on it earlier. It's a cool dress. It's just not as cool as I'm in a chariot on fire.
Yeah. Haymitch called her a dead slug.
Hilarious.
And she said she tried everything and she couldn't do it. She couldn't be one of the people he wanted her to be. And Cinna thinks about this a moment. Why don't you just be yourself? Myself? That's no good either. Haymitch says I'm sullen and hostile. Well, you are around Haymitch. I don't find you so. The prep team adores you. You even won over the game makers. And as for the citizens of the capital, well, they can't stop talking about you. No one can help but admire your spirit. My spirit. This is a new thought. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but it suggests I'm a fighter in a sort of brave way. It's not that as if I'm never friendly. Okay, maybe I don't go around loving everybody I meet. Maybe my smiles are hard to come by, but I do care for some people. Cinna takes my icy hands in his warm ones. Suppose, when you answer the questions, you think you're addressing a friend back home. Who would your best friend be? Gale, I say instantly. Only it doesn't make sense, Cinna. I would never be telling Gale those things about me. He already knows them. What about me? Could you think of me as a friend? Of all the people I've met since I left home, Cinna is by far my favorite. I think so, but I'll be sitting on the main platform with the other stylists. You'll be able to look right at me. When you're asked a question, find me and answer it as honestly as possible. Even if what I think is horrible, especially if what you think is horrible. You'll try it? I nod. It's a plan, or at least a straw to grasp at. Remember, they already love you. Just be yourself. She sees Peeta. He's in a black suit with flame accents.
Dope. Yeah, there's a compliment.
She has to watch everybody else go because she's second to last.
Yeah.
Now she has to listen to the funny, witty, humble, fierce, and charming everybody else is before she goes up. And she's also worried the audience will get bored. And Haymitch says, remember, you're still a happy pair, so act like it. And she's confused because she thought they abandoned that when Peeta said they didn't want to train together anymore.
Nah, I just want to throw you off.
Caesar Flickman, the man who has hosted the interview for more than 40 years.
What a name. God, she's good at this.
Caesar Flickerman.
Even better.
Bounces onto the stage. It's a little scary because his appearance has been virtually unchanged during all of that time. The same face under a coating of pure white makeup. Same hairstyle that he dyes a different color for each Hunger Games. Same ceremonial suit. Midnight blue dotted with 1,000 tiny electric bulbs that twinkle like stars. They do surgery in the capital to make people appear younger and thinner. In District 12, looking old is something of an achievement since so many people die early.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
You see an elderly person, you want to congratulate them on their longevity. Ask the secret of survival. A plump person is envied because they aren't scraping by like the majority of us. But here it is different. Wrinkles aren't desirable. A round belly isn't a sign of success. Well, damn, does that not make you think about things? Anyway,
Yes, a little bit.
like, fuck me up then.
A little bit.
The girl tribute from District 1 looking provocative in a see-through gold gown steps up, again, these are children, steps up the center of the stage to join Caesar.
Like,
I mean, she's technically, because she's from District 1, she's 18, but still, steps up the center of the stage to join Caesar for her interview. You can tell her mentor didn't have any trouble coming up with an angle for her. With that flowing blonde hair, emerald green eyes, her body tall and lush, she's sexy all the way. Each interview only lasts 3 minutes. Then a buzzer goes off and the next tribute is up. I'll say this for Caesar. He really does his best to make the tributes shine. He's friendly, tries to set the nervous ones at ease, laughs at lame jokes, and can turn a weak response into a memorable one by the way he reacts. The monstrous boy from District 2 is a ruthless killing machine. The fox-faced girl from District 5, sly and elusive. I spotted Cinna as soon as he took his place. But even his presence cannot relax me. 8, 9, 10. The crippled boy from 10 is very quiet. Excuse me. My palms are sweating like crazy, but the jeweled dress isn't absorbent, and they skid right off as I try to dry them. 11. Rue, who is dressed in a gossamer gown.
The 4th time we get to hear about Rue.
Complete with wings.
The only one we have a name for thus far.
Rue is wearing a gossamer gown with wings.
Oh, so she can climb.
An angel.
Oh my god.
Flutters her way to Caesar. A hush falls over the crowd at the sight of this magical wisp of a tribute. Caesar's very sweet with her, complimenting her 7 in training, an excellent score for one so small. When he asks her what her greatest strength in the arena will be, she doesn't hesitate. I'm very hard to catch, she says in a tremulous voice, and if they can't catch me, they can't kill me.
Aren't you precious?
So don't count me out.
Why are your teeth sharpened, you shark?
I wouldn't in a million years, says Caesar encouragingly.
Rattlesnake.
The boy tribute from 11, Thrash, has the same dark skin as Rue.
He seems cool.
Now, Gus.
Yes?
People got angry at one point when the Hunger Games came out that Rue and Thresh were black.
Oh, boo fucking who.
Yes.
Boo fucking who.
They're black in this.
Also,
you
who cares?
Anyway.
If they're, like...
Anyway.
You know, it doesn't need to be justified in the text for the fucking character to be black. Fuck that.
I know, but when they are, it's especially egregious.
Especially, yes.
He's one of the giants, Thresh. Probably 6.5 feet tall and built like an ox. But I noticed he rejected the invitations from the career tributes to join their crowd. Instead, he's been very solitary, speaking to no one, showing little interest in training. Even so, he scored a 10, and it's not hard to imagine he impressed the game makers. He ignores Caesar's attempts at banter and answers with a yes or no, or just remains silent. If only I was his size, I could get away with sullen and hostile, and it would be just fine.
Yep.
I bet half the sponsors are at least considering him. If I had any money, I'd bet on him myself. And then they're calling Katniss Everdeen. So she walks out. She takes Caesar's hand. He says, so Katniss, the capital must be quite a change from District 12. What's impressed you most since you arrived here? What? What did he say? Relatable.
Oh, yes.
It's as if the words make no sense. Catatory processing disorder.
That's good.
I meant to say Katniss has auditory processing disorder, and it came out catatory processing disorder.
That works, too.
So she's racking her brain. She thinks, be honest, be honest. The lamb stew I get out.
That's funny. Look, here's the thing. You go to California, and and somebody asks you, so, I mean, you know, you're from Tennessee. What's the most different thing? And you go, like, what stood out to you? And you go, In-N-Out? Everyone in California is going to go like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good answer.
Yeah, it's a good answer. The one with the dried plums, asks Caesar. I nod. Oh, I eat it by the bucketful. He turns sideways to show the audience in horror a hand on his stomach. It doesn't show, does it? Very fun. Now, Katniss, when you came out in the opening ceremonies, my heart actually stopped. What did you think of that costume? You mean after I got over my fear of being burned alive? Big laugh from the audience. I thought Cinna was brilliant, and it was the most gorgeous costume I've ever seen, and I couldn't believe I was wearing it. I can't believe I'm wearing this either. I mean, look at it. The audience oohs and ahs. And Cinna makes a little circle motion with his finger, and she knows he's saying, twirl for me. I spin in a circle once, and the reaction is immediate. Oh, do that again, says Caesar. So I lift up my arms and spin around and around, letting the skirt fly out, letting the dress engulf me in flames. The audience breaks into cheers. When I stop, I clutch Caesar's arm. Don't stop. I have to. I'm dizzy. I'm also giggling, which I think I've never done, maybe never in my lifetime. But the nerves and the spinning have gotten to me. Then Caesar makes a cheap joke about Haymitch being a drunk.
Well, low-hanging fruit.
And then he says, so about that training score, 11. 11. Give us a hint what happened there. All I can say is I think it was a first. The cameras are right on the game makers, who are chuckling and nodding.
They're like, shit, don't fucking.
You're killing us, says Caesar, as if in actual pain. Details. I'm not supposed to talk about it, right? The game maker who fell in the punch bowl shouts out, she's not. Thank you. Sorry, my lips are sealed. Let's go back then to the moment they called your sister's name at the reaping. And you volunteered.
Very dramatic turn. Very well done, Caesar.
Can you tell us about her? Her name's Prim. She's just 12, and I love her more than anything. What did she say to you after the reaping? She asked me to try really hard to win. And what did you say? I swore I would. I bet you did. Sorry, we're out of time. Best of luck, Katniss Everdeen. Tribute from District 12.
Phenomenal.
The applause continues
Legend.
long after I'm seated. I look to Cinna for reassurance, and he gives me a subtle thumbs up. I'm still in a daze for the first part of Peeta's interview. He has the audience from the get-go, though. I can hear them laughing, shouting out. He plays up the baker's son thing. What is a baker's son thing? Oh, you know me. Flour and shit. I don't know.
I like to carry a sort of a wry attitude with me.
Oh my God.
I consider myself wholesome.
I'm not a sourdough.
Yeah.
For real, though, let's get back to the book. He has a funny
I think
anecdote.
I'll just roll right on through this.
Oh my God.
You know? I look around at some of the other contestants. Some of them look a little pasty.
This is good.
It's gonna be a piece of cake.
We've hit a new Philo. So they've got a whole bit about the shower and whether or not they smell like roses. Then Caesar asks him if he has a girlfriend back home. Peeta hesitates, then gives an unconvincing shake of his head. Handsome lad like you, there must be some special girl. Come on, what's her name? Well, there is this one girl. I've had a crush on her since I can remember, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't know I was alive until the reaping. Sounds of sympathy from the crowd. Oh. Unrequited love they can relate to. She have another fellow? Asks Caesar. I don't know, but a lot of boys like her. So here's what you do. You win, you go home. She can't turn you down then, eh? What's consent, honestly, Caesar? I don't think it's going to work out. Winning will help in my case. Why ever not? Because she came here with me.
A pin could drop.
What did you think about that?
Oh my God. I was like, oh, and then I went, oh, you motherfucker. I went, oh, you devious bastard.
You devious bastard.
I don't know, man.
You
Look,
don't trust Peeta?
I don't trust Peeta. I think it could absolutely be that he's being earnest, and I'll feel like a dick at the end of all this. But I think it could just as easily, this could all be a ruse.
A ruse?
Here's the ruse.
All right.
I'm compelled, though, and I'm excited to keep reading.
So you don't trust, let's keep a tally.
I trust nobody.
You don't trust Peeta?
No.
You don't trust Rue?
No.
You don't trust Cinna?
No.
You don't trust Gale?
No. Gale I mostly trust.
Okay. What about Haymitch?
Haymitch I mostly trust.
You don't trust Effie?
God, no.
All right.
I trust Katniss.
Do you trust Prim?
I think Prim is the mastermind of this whole operation.
She put her name in there on purpose. She
did.
put her name in the Goblet of Fire.
She sure did. Trans lives
Hashtag
matter.
Trans Lives Matter. What do you think? End of part 1.
It's great. You know, I mean, it sets everything up really well. It's compelling. It's fun. It doesn't have it's enough exposition that I'm not confused, but little enough that I'm it's great. You know, it's really good. I can see why these were the hit books of my teen years. I don't know how the fuck I didn't read them. What was I reading at this? I guess I was finishing Harry Potter, I guess. And whatever else was coming out then. More Series of Unfortunate Events, I think. And some fantasies. I don't remember what. Redwall, those were good, yeah. Percy Jackson. I think I was doing Percy Jackson at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of glad I didn't read them then, because I can read them now. But I want to keep going, and I'm having a great time.
I'm excited for you to keep reading.
Yeah.
I'm liking your spicy takes.
It's more fun that way.
And I think when we get back, I'm going to have you read to...
I can't read the whole part too?
No.
Oh, man.
Absolutely not. We have to break it into chunks for sure.
Fine.
You may not read the whole thing. I'm going to go with you can read till chapter 14.
Can I read chapter 14?
No.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's a lot of pages. That's like 50 pages. You can read 50 pages.
That's nothing. All right, fine. I know how you feel now.
Thank you so much, folks. I don't know the outro. Can you do the outro?
Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on. It's linked below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes. And then, of course, you can always leave us a rating and a review, which helps quite a lot.
All right. And anything else, Gus?
As Peeta would say, I'm muffin for the long haul.
Thank you so much, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Here you go. You can read those 50 pages. You'll have it done in 2 minutes.